Welcome, guys. I am back from Montana. As you all know, I had a little 4th of July meetup, and this beautiful lady right here was there in person as well. Oops, let me just mute. Okay, sorry about that. Maya, I met actually at Meetup a couple months back, and she came to the Montana meetup. I got to know a little bit more about her story, and I thought, why not do a live stream with Maya to talk about autoimmune healing and carnivore diet 101? So let's welcome Maya in the live chat. Maya, welcome. How are you today? How did you find the carnivore diet?
Thank you so much, Bella. I'm so excited to be on this live stream and share my journey. The carnivore diet has given me a new life. Um, and I'm so excited to start sharing what I did to help out with my health and wellness.
I love it. We will focus a lot on autoimmune healing. You actually had an autoimmune condition that you healed from, and I want you to talk about it, and then I'll share my experience with psoriasis. So yours is called HLA-B27 positive. What is that?
Correct. So HLA-B27 positive is actually a genetic marker, and it predisposes me to a lot of other autoimmune conditions. So it's also known as a seronegative spondyloarthropathies, so SPA. And so these conditions that lie under it are typically like rheumatoid factor negative, which
Hmm.
means you do testing in the blood and the rheumatoid factors test negative, so they don't show up, but you can still have autoimmune disorders. So those can also be spondyloarthritis and juvenile arthritis, and mine are also peripheral in my peripheral joints. So I've had arthritis in my finger joints and my feet and my clavicle and my lower back. My knee has been affected. And I also have had sacroiliitis and iritis, which almost made me go blind if I hadn't gone on carnivore.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How young did these symptoms start?
Yes. So they started showing up pretty strongly during COVID because everything had shut down and I was a competitive athlete my whole life. So I went from having long sessions, training sessions weekly, and always being active to completely sedentary. And I think that's what kind of started
Hmm.
the extreme flare ups. And I was about 12 years old at the time.
Wow. I would love to know what you tried along the way in trying to heal this condition before you stumbled across carnivore. Did you try anything else in regards to diet, medications? Let me know.
Yeah, so unfortunately, during the year of 2020, my symptoms had started worsening. And originally, I had thought that they were overworking, me overworking myself from my training. And then they just got stronger and stronger to the point where I couldn't even roll out of bed. Sometimes flare ups would affect me where I couldn't even roll in my bed. I had to stay completely still to be able to go to sleep. And that's at the
Wow.
point that's where I started going to regular hospital visits, and immediately the doctors put me on biologics like Humira and meloxicam, which are all anti-inflammatories. And those
Mm.
biologics I had to inject myself 2 times a week, or sorry, biweekly. And because the thing that started me actually committing to carnivore, I knew about it in the past through people like Michaela Peterson. And
Mm.
I also had followed what's called the snake diet on YouTube, but that's kind of
Mm.
separate. But the thing that started me actually committing to the carnivore diet was having the chance to go to Japan for a year as an exchange student. And I was really scared about my medicine and being able to travel with that and having a full year's worth. And so I started doing the lion diet for about 2 to 3 weeks straight on my own, about a month before I went to Japan. And that's when I
Mm.
started.
Wow. So when you started the carnivore diet, what were the foods that you cut out initially that you felt like gave the most dramatic results?
Yes. So those four foods include gluten, soy, sugar, and seed oils.
Mm. How easy was it to cut out those foods living in Japan, though, or
So that's the
difficult?
thing. Um, because at the time, my parents, my family, my peers, no one knew about this diet. I was on my
Yeah.
own. And so I didn't really have the support or the motivation like you would if you joined like the SVG gang and community who really help with that. I didn't have that, and I wasn't educated enough to be able to do it long term. I didn't know about electrolytes. And so I was only eating about 3 steaks a day without anything. I mean, I salted it, but
Uh-huh.
it was very detrimental to my health. And so
Yeah.
during Japan, I did not follow the carnivore diet. And I really quickly found out that my health was at the worst it has ever been during Japan. I was limping for over half a year because my knee started getting inflammation. I was
Mhm.
not able to join the rest of my peers in other activities, after school activities, etc. And so it was really when I came back from my year about 12 months ago already, about a year ago, is when I fully committed to carnivore. And it's been about 10 months. So my 1 year university anniversary is coming up soon.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So much to talk about. So
Yes.
when you were in Japan for school, how young were you and how young are you right now?
Yes. So for Japan, I left when I was 16. Once I arrived
Right.
about a month later, I turned 17. And then when I came back after 12 months, I turned 18 within 1 month. And now I'm 18.
I love it. So you guys might not be able to tell or see from the way that she carries herself. A lot of you guys also met her in person in Montana, but Maya is in fact 18. She is so mature. She's so confident in her own skin. And I'm sure it's because of what you're eating, this carnivore diet. So, what type of benefits has a carnivore diet given you in regards to your confidence, self esteem, and mental health?
Oh, it's given me back everything, my whole personality, my demeanor. Of course, at the time I started getting my health issues, it was at the peak of puberty, and so I was already going through a lot anyways with mood swings and depression and OCD conditions. And
Mm,
because of that, not only was I not able to connect with my peers, I wasn't able to leave the house as much because of my not just my physical pain, but also mental problems and difficulties. Um,
yeah.
I've always been comfortable speaking with people in a public setting, but at that time, I didn't want to see people. I was having severe mood swings, especially with my family. And even looking back on, I deeply regret, but I'm just so happy that carnivore has like given me my real personality back. And it's so interesting when we talk about mental clarity on the carnivore diet. And I was just speaking
Mhm.
to my dad about this yesterday. When I
Yeah.
go to these meetups, when people
Yes.
go to these carnivore meetups, I think the biggest impact that I get from hearing other people's stories are the people with mental disabilities that have been just healed. Like, for
Mhm.
example, um, this isn't mental, but for example, I'm just using this like epilepsy. The original
Mhm.
cure to epilepsy, the oldest cure to epilepsy is the carnivore diet, or essentially a carnivore diet. And the fact that that has to
Yeah.
do with healing your brain is just insane to me. So,
Yes, exactly. So it's typically they'll put kids with seizures and epilepsy on a very high fat ketogenic diet. So
yeah.
that's how I was like, okay, so there really is a lot of mental benefits to eating a lot of fat, not just cutting down the carbs, but being intentional about eating more animal fats. What is your experience playing around with a high fat, moderate fat carnivore diet?
Yeah, so I make sure to get my fat in after, of course, viewing your videos and being a young woman myself. I know how important it is for us young women to get our fat in, especially on something like the keto carnivore diet. And
Yes.
things like butter. My mom, also following the carnivore diet, loves eating the golden Jello and just she
Oh,
loves high fat. For me
yeah.
personally, I don't do much with butter just because I like just draining the fat and saving that for later. And then also bacon, is it called lard? Bacon fat is my
Lard,
favorite.
yeah.
Yes, I just eat that straight up. It's so good. And I just naturally love fatty meats. Whenever I
Yeah.
go to, like, we have a local farmer's market in my area, I always get pork belly, but extra fat. I ask purposely for extra fat. And because no one
Mm,
asks for that, they give me free, like
Totally.
discount, or they'll give me free extra fat trimmings from other
Yes.
people's unwanted pile. And it's really amazing. The butcher as
It's
well.
such a yeah.
Free fat that I just fry up in the air fryer.
Amazing, amazing. Now, as a young woman, you're 18 years young, and you obviously you have your period. You were raised in this generation where most of us women believe that we should be moving more, eating less, cutting down the fat, eating low fat everything. How did you get through that mental block to eat this much fat now and to be carnivore? Was there any struggle or fear?
Oh, there was definitely fear. I mean, I don't know the exact percentage, but most young girls who go through puberty have a phase, or a long phase. For me, it was very long, where we want to lose weight and we want to try low fat, and we look up all these diet tips on YouTube and social media. And usually it's eat more veggies, eat lean meats like chicken breast and shrimp and seafood that's low in calories and low in fat. And I've been through so many diets like that, where I've harmed my body, I've harmed my metabolism and my energy just by going through those diets, and just by firsthand experience switching from those kinds of diets to high fat. I can clearly tell a difference and how much more beneficial one is over the other. And that's the thing, you have to have firsthand experience to truly agree with what you're hearing and what you want to put yourself through.
Exactly. So, did you ever have issues with your menstruation, with your periods? Did you ever have cramps and mood swings? Would love to hear about that.
So when I first started getting my period, it was pretty early. I think it was the age of 10 or 11. And
Mm.
I do remember having pretty bad cramps. Like, I couldn't get up. I had to take lots of pain medication. And that lasted for a few years. But for the past few years, after getting through that huge, that, what's it called? That after getting through the beginning of that, I haven't
Yeah.
had many problems with cramps. However, mood swings was a big thing. I
Mm.
already mentioned that going through puberty, mood swings had already been affected, but of course, going on your period, it just exacerbate. I can't say that word, but it just
Yeah,
makes it even bigger. And so,
absolutely.
yeah, I definitely remember being on my period, and at the time, I also remember thinking, like, it was so dumb of me to think this, but because on your period you kind of hold water weight, I was so scared of
Mhm.
gaining weight. And so I
Mm.
would follow an even more stricter, veggies and lean meats diet, and that just made everything so much worse. And my family even remembers that time and always says, like, you were just a little monster during those periods. Like, people did not want to be around me. So
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
pretty bad.
Like, I really want this video to be able to be shared to all the
Yes.
young women who are struggling, and because you're 18 and you have walked a carnivore lifestyle for almost a year now, I really wanna talk about how, for example, your peers and your friends who are also teenagers are thinking of your diet. When they sit next to you, when you hang out with them, and they're seeing that you're only eating meat, fatty meat at that, no vegetables, no fruits, are they asking you questions? Are they confused? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So that's one of my current um, concerns right now, is coming out to my friends and peers about being on this crazy diet that might kill you. And only a few people I've told and kind of elaborated on why I do this diet and why it's good for my health have been very welcoming.
Mm.
Recently, I had a guy friend I had went out with for like a mall date, and it was like 6 hours. So we were gonna go out for food, and he was mentioning, let's get some chocolates and ice cream and all that. And I remember sitting down on a bench, and I told him, I just wanted to mention this, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but I follow this kind of diet, and my reasons are this. And it has brought me a lot of clarity. And before, I had all these symptoms, and now they're cleared. And I just remember looking at his at his face this whole time I was talking to him, and he was just like wide-eyed, and he said, "No, I've heard of this diet, but I always thought it was, crazy, and I saw the social media people talking about it and all the comments, but you've really opened my eyes, Maya. Like, I could have never imagined that you would find this amount of relief, and other people, I could definitely see how other people with health conditions can really um, get a lot of benefits out of this kind of diet." And that brought me so much relief, because that's the most scary thing, is telling people that you're doing something that's so controversial currently. That really shouldn't be. But I'm looking forward to chatting more with my other friends about this kind of lifestyle. But unfortunately, most of my friends reside in Japan, and their food culture is a little different than ours in America. And so that's kind of my current concern.
No worries. I'm sure you'll navigate it. You're a very smart woman. Now, I want to pivot to family.
Yes.
You were the first person who went carnivore in your family, and I've had the pleasure to meet both your mom and your dad. Lindy, I sent you a video of Maya's mom, and I just want you to help me share screen it in a couple minutes from now, just to show off her mom and the results that she got. But I want to know the story of how you convinced your parents to even be open to a carnivore diet, because I have a very old school traditional Chinese parents, okay? And when they first found out that I went from vegan to carnivore, they were very concerned. They were blown away. They couldn't believe it. Obviously, they had a lot of concerns about not eating vegetables. What was it like telling your parents about your new diet?
Yeah. So my family has a very interesting history with our food culture within the family. And my parents both actually met when they were vegans, or vegetarian vegans. And I was raised from the ages of 0 to 4 completely vegan. And then they switched to paleo because they got into CrossFit. And so it was a crazy switch. I mean, I led a very healthy lifestyle for most of my life, eating mostly whole foods, animal based. And
Mm.
then, because of my preparation for Japan, I started talking to my dad, and he is a urologist currently practicing. And he's always been open to research and seeing, I'm his daughter and I'm going through all these health concerns. And of course, trying anything else than having to be put on more and more biologics and more medication, which was going to happen. And seeing anything else that would help is our number one priority. And so I remember speaking to him and expressing my complete resistance to being put on more and more medication. And he completely agreed. He didn't want to see me having to go on just all this extra stuff that he didn't feel was necessary. And so I mentioned Michaela Peterson, which is a big inspiration to me because I can see a lot of similarities between us. And she completely supported this diet. My mom was a little on the edge, but all moms are. And so I started my 2 3 week lion diet. I did get a little bit of relief, but again, I didn't go about it the right way, so it wasn't enough. Went to Japan, I came back, but during my Japan trip, my mom had started thinking about her own health. She was becoming pre-diabetic. She was overweight. She was getting not leg tremors, but severe leg cramp where she couldn't even stay asleep. And so my dad expressed some of his concern, but ultimately it was my mom's dedication to her health that led her to remembering, oh, wait, Maya went on this thing called the carnivore diet. I'm going to look into it again. And so for the next 5 months, she shed most of her weight. Currently, she's down 50 pounds. She's the healthiest she's ever been. And
Yeah.
she says it's all because I started the carnivore diet, and she had remembered that. And I mean, that's just insane that my parents look completely different. I mean, they look like they did when I was, about in elementary school. It's really insane. And we've gotten my dad on it
Wow.
now, cutting out alcohol. He's down about 25 pounds, and his
Wow.
mental clarity has shifted. I mean, they have just perked up, and it's really amazing to see.
Wow. Well, I've only met your parents in their after, right?
Mhm.
Before they were when they were inflamed and they were eating carbs, I never got to meet them. So I met them in Florida at Dr. Kiltz's meetup.
Hmm.
And then I met them again at Meatstock, and then just recently, a couple days ago, in
Yes.
Montana. And I am always blown away at this entire family, Maya and her parents, because they are so on top of everything. They're helping out when they don't even need to help out, when they just need to enjoy the event, right? But they are just helping out, trying to be efficient and productive as a team. And Maya, you are the event organizer for Meatstock now, right?
Yes, I am the main coordinator for Meatstock 2026. Tickets are
Wow.
open. But
Yes,
yeah,
they
I'm really
are.
looking forward to meeting everyone and seeing more and more people come and share their stories.
Do you think that you being an event organizer for such a huge carnivore convention is because you changed your diet and changed the foods you ate?
Yeah, I mean, personally, as someone living with my health conditions, I feel like there's so many more people out there that have it worse off and more challenging. And it's like, I don't compare, but naturally I tend to think, well, what I'm going through is nothing compared to a lot of other people. But after speaking with my parents and especially my dad, he really has brought up my esteem and said, Maya, look, you have a story. You're young. Not many people have heard of, such a story where you've had, you know, cortisone shots and eye flares and knee taps and, you've been on prednisone, you've been on biologics, you do have a story to share. And that's, I
Yeah.
think, the one thing that makes you unique. And he's encouraged me to share my story. And I think that's really what has made me stick with this kind of thing.
I
So
love
yeah.
it. I love it. Can I shout out your YouTube channel? Because we need more voices like you, Maya, and you're 18. You can really inspire the younger generation. What are your platforms? How can we support you real quick?
Yeah, so it should be Maya Rain on YouTube. I am setting everything up still currently, but usually it'll fall under the Maya Rain channel, and it's both in Japanese and English. So there might be my name written in Japanese as well, but it should show up if you just look up Maya Rain.
Yes, I've actually linked it down below in the description box, guys. You can check out her platforms, follow her. After this live stream is over, we still have some time to take your questions. So, if you have any questions for Maya or for myself regarding how to start a carnivore diet, troubleshoot, autoimmune healing, skin healing, we are here to help you and share our experiences together. If you guys could just type a capital Q and then type out your question or what you need help with, it'll really help Lindy find the questions easily so that we can do it one by one. And I'm going to just put up the first one here. Actually, I meant to share screen the video that I filmed with Maya's mom, Carrie. Let's see if it plays. Hopefully this works, but you guys need to just watch this. Okay, let's see if it plays. You might not be able to hear it, but just look at this wonderful testimonial right here. So Maya, why don't you share some details of your mom, Carrie?
Yes, so my mom is the kind of person who is just so disciplined with whatever she puts her mind to. But of course, when you're talking about your own health, physical health, mental health, that's the most
Yep.
difficult thing. So I'm so proud of my mom. She's such inspiration for me. Um, and she consistently works out currently. She's even stricter than me on carnivore, I do have to say. She is so strict, which
Yeah.
is great, but she does work out. And as you can see, I mean, she's just built so much muscle,
It's
and
incredible.
she's
Yeah.
inspiring my dad to be healthier more and more day by day. And yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to see.
She's 52 years young, guys. Okay. And she has had 5 children, right? That is
Yes.
insane. Looks phenomenal. Very, very inspiring. I want to be like her when I grow up, please. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Now let's jump right into questions with our first one from Caleb's Carnivore Quest, who is 16. We can all support Caleb and Maya together, guys who are watching. Caleb says, "Hi, I recognize you from the meetup. Did you get a chance to meet him?"
Yes. Hi, Caleb. I remember we arm wrestled. You taught me how to do that correctly. I failed miserably, but thank you so much.
Yay. Caleb wants to know, how young are you, if you don't mind repeating that?
Yes. So I'm 18 years old. 18.
Amazing. Love it. Wes, it was great meeting you and your parents in Montana. That's right. Wes was
Yeah.
here in Montana as well. That was really fun. Thank you for saying hi, Wes. Kathy, how is Maya's spine after being on carnivore this long?
Yeah. So my lower back spine, sacroiliac, my sacroiliac area was my biggest concern. At the peak of my inflammation, it felt like I was just in a car crash. It felt like my back was broken. It was absolutely horrible. And that's why the doctors were saying, maybe it's ankylosing spondylitis where your spine can fuse over time. And that's what causes, and that's where all the inflammation is. But I mean, if I'm not going through a severe flare, I feel completely normal. I'm able to bend my back because I was an athlete. I was a gymnast and a competitive cheerleader. My teams have gone to win national awards and perform at ESPN and Disney and all of that. I still have retained all of my flexibility. And if I'm sticking to my normal carnivore lifestyle, I'm just superhuman, really.
Incredible. I'm very curious, to make sure that you don't have pain day to day. Do you have to avoid all dairy? Because you said you don't eat butter. Do you have to avoid dairy? And also, do you have to make sure your meat is low histamine?
Yeah, so I'm actually playing around with that right now. When I first started the slowly transitioning into a more stricter carnivore diet. I didn't go completely into it where like I had done with the 3 weeks lion. I remember watching actually Bella your videos about how I would do the carnivore diet if I did this all over again. I think that was the title. And
Yes.
you talked about going week by week, cutting out certain foods like fruit one week, then vegetables, and so on.
Mm,
And that has been amazing for me. So at the
great.
beginning, I ate a lot of dairy, cheeses, butters, not milk, but like heavy whipping cream and raw milk. And I ate a lot just because my mom actually is obsessed with cheese and dairy, so she just loved buying
I
it,
heard.
and I would eat it. But recently, for the past, let's say 3, 4 months, I've cut down.
Mhm.
I don't eat cheese. I don't drink milk. I think the only dairy I have right now, sometimes I'll have butter if it's available to
Mhm.
me when I'm at like the meetups and such. But I
Yeah,
do eat heavy whipping cream because it's just so
got
good.
it.
But I'm going to cut that out because I'm testing how my skin is on dairy. You can't see it right now,
Yeah.
but I do have a few skin problems that I'm trying to deal with that might be hormonal, acne, stuff like that. That's
Yes.
kind of painful under the skin stuff. And in
Yep.
regard to what was the other question? Low histamine. Um,
Low histamine meat. Yes. Have you played
yes.
with that?
So I haven't played with that just because I do regularly eat dry aged meats,
Mm,
dry aged
awesome.
ribeyes. So fortunately, I am fortunate enough to not be affected by the dry aged histamine and all that. I know a lot
Mm,
of other people who do have my kind of conditions and inflammation can get affected by that, but it's really case by case. So yeah.
perfect. Well, if you guys have follow-ups about low histamine and also troubleshooting dairy, we would be happy to share more. Sunnyflower says, "What is golden Jello?" Do you want to explain?
Golden Jello. Is that a term you coined, Bella? Did you create
I
that?
mean, I think so, because when I posted about the chilled broth, I was
Mhm.
like, "What can I call this that's more appetizing?" Because if I said it's um, overnight broth that you put in the refrigerator, it doesn't sound as appealing as a golden Jello, you know? So I think I did coin it.
Yes. Well, that's amazing. Yeah, we always refer to it as golden Jello in our family. But yeah, golden Jello is when the um not the fat, I'm forgetting the word. Could you help me out?
Yeah, like the collagen and the
Collagen.
gelatin
Yes.
that
It
seeps out of the
coagulates.
bone.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So
it
it
turns into Jello.
coagulates in the
Yep.
fridge. In the fridge it coagulates, turns into Jello, and it truly is a Jello-like texture, but you're just eating the
Yeah.
collagen from either the meat drippings, or what we do is we put all of our leftover bones in a crock pot and just boil
Mm,
them up and for hours and hours on end, sometimes days.
perfect.
And we
Yeah.
just eat all of that collagen, and we don't need to take collagen supplements most of the time, and we just love it.
I love that you said that. Okay. So most women these days, young women especially, believe that you have to take all of these expensive supplements and powders and collagen and gelatin thingies that have stevia and flavorings to mask the flavor when you can just drink bone broth and have all of those amazing benefits for good skin, hair, and nails. And I know you women really want good skin, hair, and nails, you gentlemen too as well. So you should definitely make time to make bone broth. And so the golden Jello, Sunnyflowers, is referring to when you put that bone broth in your refrigerator overnight, you have to give it a couple hours. It literally turns into a gelatinous, jiggly Jello because of the gelatin and the collagen in the bones that you cooked. So here's my best hack for all of you lazy carnivores like me. Get yourself an Instant Pot. Get yourself some chicken wings. And I'm talking about those really small party wings that you get at Buffalo Wild Wings. Get it at any grocery store. They're super cheap. Throw 2 to 3 pounds or even more if your Instant Pot is huge. Throw it in your Instant Pot and cover it with just enough water and pressure cook on high for a total of 50 minutes. If you want it extra jiggly, I would go for 70 to 90 minutes. Let the pressure naturally release. Chuck that entire pot into your refrigerator overnight. I promise you, you will wake up in the morning with a whole pot of golden jiggly Jello. So that right there is truly skin and beauty food. That's carnivore, that's healthy and cheap. And if you don't like the gelatinous texture because it grosses you out, heat it up, drink it like a soup, just as nutrient dense. Okay, so that's what we talk about, especially the ladies when they talk about the golden Jello. Okay, hopefully that helps. All right, what do you eat in any typical day as a carnivore, Maya?
Yeah, let me use today as an example. So
Okay.
today let's see, I typically eat pretty late. So I would say I have like a late lunch and then a dinner. So I think I unintentionally do fast. But for me, I had, let's see, there was leftover ribeye, there was leftover bacon, um, there was a bit of shrimp in the fridge, and I had a lot of that for my lunch. And then later on for dinner, my mom did bring back the naked Buffalo Wild Wings. There is, I think today on Wednesday, you can get
Okay.
like one buy one get one free kind of thing. And so we
Yes.
got like the largest count you could get. I ate a bunch of those, and then I'm sure right now she's putting all those bones in the crock pot to pressure cook and make Jello. And we always
Love
come out
it.
with like 3, 4 cups, giant cups of that Jello that I typically do salt, and it tastes amazing like that.
Beautiful. Love it. Where do you shop for your meats? Is it just anywhere or do you have go-tos?
So our go-to is, because we're in the South, we go to Publix, the supermarket. Um, and we also do Whole Foods. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I can't think of any other area. Sometimes we'll go to our local farms. Recently, we have been supporting the local farm and going to pick up the raw dairy there and some of their meat. Um, and yeah, that's about it.
Perfect. You guys have Costco there? Sam's Club?
I haven't seen them within my area, but I'm sure they're within like an hour's drive. Yeah.
Awesome. There you go. Kathy just wants to know what kind of autoimmune do you have, if you don't mind repeating?
Yeah, so it is a bit difficult to explain just because it's not a very common autoimmune disorder, but everything that I have falls under what's called HLA-B 27 positive, which is a pre-marker, a predisposer to other autoimmune conditions, and anything including rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile arthritis, and then any of my peripheral joints being affected.
Thank you. Genesis, I'm at week 1 of a carnivore diet. Should I track my protein? How do I know that I'm not overeating if I choose not to track? Why don't you take that first?
Okay, let me reread that again. I'm at a week 1 of carnivore diet. Congratulations. Should I track my
Yay.
protein? Well, how you would typically know if you're not overeating is really, I mean, I go by how my stomach really feels. I know if I've
Mhm.
overeaten I feel like there's bricks in my stomach if I am overeating. Typically, my energy might go down. You'll feel a bit sleepy, but at the start, of course. Um, let's see. I have tracked my protein in the past. My mom does track very strictly, but at my current the point I'm at in my carnivore diet, I'm so comfortable with what I eat on a day-to-day basis that I don't track anything. But what
Amazing.
about you,
I love
Bella?
it.
What would you recommend?
Yeah, so I'm very much anti-tracking, always have been since going carnivore. And I've been carnivore for 6 years now. I never had to lean on tracking to get results, specifically in my body composition. I've I've slowly seen my body change over the past 6 years in a way where I'm very happy about. So I talk about this all the time when I talk about my personal body recomposition, but I call it butter boobs. Now, butter boobs I didn't coin. I learned it from Dr. Elizabeth Bright, but it's a thing. When women embrace a high fat carnivore or even just a high fat keto diet where you limit the carbs, your body composition changes. You get a more cinched waist. You lose the bloat, which also contributes to a more cinched middle area. Your booty starts lifting, okay? Your breasts literally grow while the rest of the fat around your body decreases. So, how is this possible? A lot of women, when they go carnivore and they're eating all this fat, their hormones continue to develop and they were stunted before they went carnivore. Why? Because they either fell into the trap of eating very low fat, they either were eating toddler portions, limiting calories down to 1200. I have worked with members in the gang where they were eating 800 calories a day. Okay, your hormones are going to be wrecked. You're probably going to lose your period. Your body is probably not going to develop the way it should. So, when women embrace a high fat carnivore diet and they're truly eating enough protein and fat for enough time, we hear it over and over again. Oh my gosh, the number on the scale is not moving, but my pant size is dropping. My bra size is changing. So these are really exciting things that happen naturally when you focus on eating a high fat carnivore diet. Has anyone in this live stream watching or watching the playback experienced anything like this? Do share your experiences in the comments, please. But Genesis, I really wouldn't track the carnivore diet, track your protein right now, especially when you're only week one. I would focus on eating as much as you want. Stop when you're full. You do not need to eat until you feel sick or nauseated. Just reasonably full, and give it at least a month of just eating well. No need to track because that can stray a lot of people to focus on bad habits. Keep us posted. Amanda, you both are so pretty. Thank you. Did you always have such gorgeous skin? I'm 2 months carnivore and I'm still breaking out. What is your routine, Maya?
Oh, yes. So let's see. I'm still currently having a little bit of skin trouble. I do see my dermatologist regularly. So I am wearing makeup right now, but for example, on just my chin area, I do have a few breakouts that have been kind of painful. I had been put on some, what's it called? I forgot the word, but
Is it
to kill
birth
like
control
bacteria.
for skin?
No,
Oh,
no, it's like to
okay.
kill like bacteria because it might be
Got
a,
it.
yeah, like a bacterial kind of thing.
Antibiotics?
Yes, antibiotics.
Oh,
My mind is going
yeah.
blank, but yeah. So put
No
on a
worries.
bit of antibiotics. I'm off all medication currently, but I'm working towards cutting out dairy and like eggs and going a bit stricter just to see what exactly it is and if I can heal that. But everything else
Mhm.
completely fine. I do follow my normal skin routine, which is cleansing, and I put on moisturizer if I need to. I've recently been trying tallow, which has been great, and tallow mask. I got one from the SBG meetup.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's right.
did. But yeah, I just do my normal skin routine, make sure my skin is clean and hydrated. But what have your experience been with skin, Bella?
Yeah. Well, I can relate to this question very much with the breakouts. From age 14 all the way up to, I want to say 22, I struggled with breaking out and I would get cystic acne and they would be filled with pus very painful, very bright red. And I would literally need to take on so many layers of makeup when I had to perform on stage because I was so embarrassed. So I get the struggle with breaking out. Now, the first thing that you can do, Amanda, with improving your skin issues is absolutely diet. The skin for me was the last to heal. This is not to discourage you, Amanda, or anyone struggling with skin, but it's to give you hope that if you're not seeing results and benefits with your skin issues right now, and you're only 1, 2, 3 months in, the skin is the last to heal typically. And I ask a lot of long-term carnivores who also had skin issues, and I always ask them, how long did it take your skin issue specifically to heal? They would always say it was the last to heal as well, or it took the longest. It took half a year. It took over a year. For me, it took 6 months to really see a big difference in my cystic acne and specifically my rosacea. So, rosacea is you get very red skin. Even when you put a finger on your skin, it will turn bright red. So, I would have very inflamed, very, very sensitive acne prone skin. When I changed my diet, guys, it cured itself. I couldn't believe it. To this day, when I wake up in the morning, fresh faced, no makeup, I am shocked that I don't have 3, 4, 5 new pus filled pimples, but it is possible. You can actually have very clear, happy skin when you eat the right diet. Does it have to be a strict carnivore diet? Not necessarily. If you just cut out the 4 foods that Maya mentioned, which are, if you don't mind repeating.
Yes. Gluten, soy, sugar, and especially seed oils.
Thank you. Those are the top 4 most nasty foods that honestly everybody should be cutting out now. From there, you might actually already be very happy with your skin results. If you're not and you want more of that glow, more of the clear skin, then start cutting out the carbs, upping the fat. Slowly get into that high fat carnivore diet. If you want more details on how to do high fat, the only person I learned from is Dr. Elizabeth Bright. Okay, so that's actually why I'm such a high fat carnivore and thriving. Look into Dr. Bright for that. Routine wise, Amanda, I have a link down below in the description box on a really good carnivore animal based skincare line. It's called Stone and Spear. Literally anything that has no alcohol in the ingredients, no fragrance in the ingredients, is going to be gentle enough as you heal your skin. Okay. Or just put tallow on your skin to hydrate it and you're good to go. Just focus on the diet. Keep us posted. All right. Let's keep going. David, what is low histamine meat? Maya?
Oh, I don't know if I'd be the best one to explain this.
No
Could you
worries.
help
I
me
can
out,
take it.
Bella?
Absolutely. So,
Thank you.
low histamine meat is basically any meat that has not been aged. So, I learned this early on when I was healing because I got skin rashes randomly when I ate random carnivore foods. And I discovered that there's this whole camp of long term carnivores who were helping healing carnivores focus on low histamine foods. Histamine intolerance is something that a lot of autoimmune healers would go through. And I was that. So when you eat meat that has been cured, sitting, dry aging for a very long time, the histamine count goes up exponentially. When you focus on buying meat that has not been hung and aged, sitting in a plastic wrap for weeks in the grocery store, and you're just buying straight from the farm or ranch, they butcher and they send direct to you, even better, flash frozen. This is actually incredibly healing for histamine intolerant people because the fresher the meat, the lower the histamine count is in that meat. This also applies to dairy. So if you're eating cheese, cheese has been fermented, sitting there for a very long time, very high in histamine. If you're eating fresh raw butter, maybe lower in histamine. You just have to play around, guys. What are typical symptoms of histamine intolerance? If you eat something and immediately you have a runny nose, immediately you have congestion in your nose or in your eyes, puffy eyes, watery eyes, rashes, anything that feels like it's an allergic response could very possibly be histamine intolerance. I do highly recommend that you guys work with a team that have experience with troubleshooting this. And just to shout out for anyone who's new and who might need some support, We have a community called the Steak and Butter Gang. I have a wonderful team of coaches and doctors who have worked with every single chronic issue, ailment, concern, and they can help you. If you're looking for it, it's linked down below. Nancy, I'm at day 13 on carnivore. My appetite is completely gone, so I'm having trouble eating enough. Any suggestions of things I can do? I've lost 15 pounds so far, and I have 130 pounds to go. I was a former ketovore. Great question. What do you think, Maya?
So it seems that you're still on your weight loss journey, it seems, and your appetite is completely gone. Having trouble eating enough. So for me, I have lost about 10 to 15 pounds of pure, inflammation, water weight, and that was a bit of fat from eating so many carbs on a normal American diet. And I did actually have a similar problem where my appetite just kind of went away, and I don't think I was eating enough because my energy was a bit low, especially with salt and all of that. And what helped me was making sure I am eating at least 2 meals a day, at least for me, because as a girl, as a woman, I feel that some people are able to do OMADs, which is 1 meal a day. But if
Mm,
you are already at a comfortable weight and you
yeah.
feel that you shouldn't go any lower because it may compromise your health, I don't recommend doing 1 meal a day. Just with digestion, I have played around with it. My digestion was completely off because in that 1 meal, you have to get enough calories in for the whole entire day. And I was left bloated. I was left trying to digest that entire meal for the rest of the day. It really plummeted my energy. But
Mm,
do you have any suggestions, Bella, on what
absolutely.
to do?
Well, your suggestion is a very, very good one. And it's something that I try to repeat over and over at these live streams because when Nancy said at the bottom there, I'm a former ketovore, I have noticed that a trend with keto diet eaters and ketovore diet eaters is they tend to fast a lot. They say, I'm a pro faster. I love 1 meal a day. Sometimes I can do alternate days. It's just part of their culture over there in that community. And when they come into the carnivore diet, they try to still maintain that type of fasting schedule. And that's how weight loss stalls. That's how energy plummets. That's how they don't lose weight and they have trouble eating enough because their appetite has gotten, I guess, used to such minimal, small amounts of food that it just shuts down. That's not what we want, right? We want the metabolism to be revved up. We want to have a healthy, voracious appetite. You do not have to eat nearly as much as I do. I know you all know how much I eat these days, but if you didn't know, when I first started carnivore, I would eat 5 pounds of meat in a single day. But that's because I was malnourished for 6 years on a vegan diet. It all depends on the history. So, Nancy, if you are having trouble eating enough, I always say lean on dairy because the interesting thing of dairy, cheese, is it opens up your appetite. It could be a great thing for people who do not eat enough. They have issues with waking up their appetite. Cheese is wonderful. It might not be great for someone like Maya's mom who feels like she's addicted to cheese and cannot stop eating,
Abstainer,
right?
yes.
Yeah, dinner. Right. But sometimes using cheese and raw dairy could be a really great tool when you are under eating. And once you've waken up your appetite, you can take out the cheese and just focus on eating high fat meats, whatever you want. But troubleshooting is great. Raw dairy is what I recommend. I don't
And can
love
I? Oh,
pasteurized. Yes, please go ahead, Maya.
I just want to add one more thing because I
Yes.
kind of stand by this. It's something I learned in Japan. There's a saying, I don't have off the top of my head, but it kind of translates to eat when you're 70, eat and stop until you're 70% full. So always make
Oh,
sure.
I've heard of
I don't
that.
know if, have you heard of that? So it's
Yes.
really good if you're trying to gauge, when should I stop eating? Have I eaten enough? Just try and follow that kind of percentage. Okay, I'm kind of full. I feel satisfied. Could I eat a little more? Maybe, but should I? And that's always up to your situation at that moment. But that's what my recommendation would be.
Yeah, I've always heard that saying and I've always linked it to the Japanese culture. And Japanese people, I'm sure you've noticed this when you lived in Japan, they're very, very thin. Like they're all fit. Like when I visited Japan for, it was like a 16-hour layover. I didn't see a single overweight Japanese person. Whereas when you go to China, I was in China literally a week for a full week before that Japan trip. I started noticing there were more and more very overweight Chinese people. And you'd be surprised.
Really?
But when I went back in China a decade ago, there were none. So what's going on? It's because there's so many junk food restaurants that came from America, like KFC, McDonald's, Taco Bell, everywhere in China. I don't know. Are they everywhere in Japan when you lived there? Like KFC, McDonald's, Taco Bell?
Yeah, so they are, but they're the Japanese version. So for example, like
Okay.
7-Eleven, we have 7-Eleven America, but 7-Eleven Japan is completely different. I mean, like you wouldn't even compare them. They're so different. But
Wow.
I will say like for McDonald's and KFC, we do have that, and it has become kind of a problem for students because students rely on those fast foods and the snacks from the convenience store to get by. But like you
Yeah.
said, I mean, that was a complete culture shock for me when I landed in it was Tokyo Airport. I think it was in Narita Airport. And I was shocked by how beautiful the flight attendants were. I mean, they were
Yeah.
all models. And then I get into the airport and just everyone was so lean. I mean, they are on the smaller
Wow.
stature. They are smaller in
Sure.
stature, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just so healthy looking.
That's really interesting. It must be because of their diet. Their diet is way cleaner than an American diet. You know what I mean?
For
So
sure.
it must. All right. So Brian wants to know, is there an acceptable spice other than salt on a carnivore diet? Well, just share what spices you enjoy.
Yeah, so fortunately, I am able to handle various spices. I played around with adding spices back in. I had originally just been having salt. It was hard for me to cut out pepper because it was like salt and pepper for all of my food at in the beginning for like eggs and meat and whatnot. But then I went through salt, and then I slowly added in different seasonings and different spices. And for me, they don't seem to affect me, which is great. And the reason why I found that out is because I went to a Brazilian restaurant where they bring around the meats, and I was only eating meats, and they had seasonings, but I didn't know what they were cooked in. And that's when the next day I woke up in severe pain, felt like my back was broken, that I realized it wasn't the seasoning, it was the oils that they were cooked in. So canola oil, peanut oils, those seed oils. And I also had another experience where I used to work at a Korean barbecue restaurant, and I didn't realize that we
Ooh.
oil and coat the grills in a peanut canola oil blend after talking to my boss about that. I had no
Yeah.
idea. And so please, if you're doing carnivore and you feel that the seed oils are maybe affecting you, be cautious at restaurants and don't feel embarrassed to ask the waitress to go in the back and ask. They're more than happy to.
Yes. In fact, you guys can take it a step further to avoid having to deal with flare-ups because for you, you feel like your back is broken. That is unfortunate. And it's very inconvenient when you're trying to be a student or trying to be efficient in your life. You do have to be very meticulous when eating out at restaurants. And what I say is, I am allergic to seed oils. So when you say that you're allergic and it's a food allergy to seed oils, they will absolutely take you very seriously, guys. So I'll say, I can only have animal fats, and if it cannot be cooked in butter or animal fats like tallow, just cook it in its own fat on a clean pan or a clean grill. At Korean barbecue restaurants, I noticed that they would brush all of the grills with a plastic bottle of golden liquid, right?
Mhm.
So I knew that that was seed oils. So you guys just have to ask a lot of questions when you go to restaurants, especially all of you long haul healers trying to heal autoimmune right now. The questions are important. If I have seed oils the next morning, hives on my chest, just so itchy, red little bumps. It goes away in a matter of like 24 hours, but it's just not fun. And you can avoid it by asking the right questions and saying that you're allergic. They'll take you seriously. Okay. Denise, can you eat deli meat on carnivore? Do you eat deli meat?
So if you are referring to the processed deli meats, like the ham and the like Spam, for example, I'm not sure if that's considered a deli meat. The processed
Mhm.
meats, you do have to be aware of the labels. If you look at the label and it's not literally just meat and salt, that's it, and maybe like protective, so like something that helps with shelf life, then
Yeah.
I would avoid that. I would 100% avoid
Mm.
that. I mean, deli
Mm.
meats, like we're able to find things like, let's see, like pepperonis that can, not pepperonis, salami that can go on like cheese boards and charcuterie boards that we do use because it has healthy, clean ingredients. But I would definitely stay away from those ultra processed typical deli meats.
Exactly. Yeah, I would, like Maya said, just check the ingredients list. That's the best thing you can do before spending your hard-earned money on anything. Always read those ingredients. Typically, they'll even try to sneak sugars and preservatives and too many spices, in my opinion. Okay. So if you want, I'm guessing, Denise, if you're looking for a convenient, travel-friendly carnivore option, you can go for boiled eggs. They actually sell those at the grocery stores, just a bag of boiled eggs. Or you can have a stick of butter with those boiled eggs. Meat sticks are also quite clean these days. Chomps is the brand that a lot of carnivores love. Or just order carnivore crisps delivered to you. All the links are below in the description box, things that I always recommend for new carnivores, traveling carnivores. Also, a previous question was asking about the dairy. Raw dairy is hard to find because a lot of the states make it illegal to get. Miller's Biofarm, I actually discovered at Scott's meat stock event because they had a cute little table there. Miller's Biofarm delivers to most states, and this is a miracle and life changing for those who really need raw dairy, like me. They can ship to you. It's linked down below as well if you guys are interested in checking them out. Charles, tell us about tallow on skin. Okay, do you want to share anything regarding tallow on skin, Mayo?
Yeah, so this past weekend, during my time in Montana, um, I tested out the tallow that was, it was a face mask, overnight face mask, and it was
Yeah.
100% tallow. And I did want to look into it a bit because I was afraid, would it clog my acne-prone skin? I was kind of worried about that. But after looking into it a bit, because it is similar to something like Vaseline, where it's too thick to
Oh,
actually penetrate the skin, I
hmm.
felt that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm still in the process of seeing how it goes. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
do it every single night because I live in a very humid, hot state. I don't need to even put moisturizer on every day. So
Yeah.
I'm still testing it, but it seems to be a really nice, I mean, it moisturizes my skin really well. I do wake up and for some reason, I feel like my skin is less like hollow under my eyes. I feel like it plumps
Yeah.
my skin a bit. I
Oh,
don't know if you can tell me why that is, Bella.
I can. I absolutely can. Well, I love taking care of the skin. It's probably a Chinese thing, but um, when you hydrate your skin, when you're really meticulous and diligent about hydrating your skin, whether that is from a high fat carnivore diet where you're hydrating from within or hydrating from externally outside, your skin will have less fine lines and wrinkles and creases. When you move your skin and you're expressive, like smiling or angry, you are contributing to those lines getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Some people will take it so far that they don't express their face. So if they're upset, they're just going to look like this. If they're laughing, they're just going to do this because they don't want wrinkles. F that. Smile when you want, be angry when you want. Just hydrate your skin to avoid those lines from setting deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I am a huge advocate of hydration, which is why when I found out a high fat carnivore diet can hydrate inside out and give you that glowy skin naturally, yeah, I'm going to be high fat every day for the rest of my life. But when I want that extra glow, I go for alcohol free moisturizers. I think that's the biggest thing that I changed with my skincare topically that really made a difference. Because when you have sensitive skin, acne prone skin, alcohol will flare up your skin. It could even just give your skin that redness and that irritation. I also avoid fragrance. So, cutting that out also help calm my skin down a lot. But with hydration, tallow is wonderful because it mimics the natural oil that your skin produces. So it just feels really like a second skin over your skin, and it hydrates so well. I don't I don't know about the skin clogging part because it is quite thick.
Mhm.
Keep us posted, Maya. Maybe you can do a video about how it
Yeah.
goes on your channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But tallow is great. I also know Dr. Bright loves using butter on her skin. I just avoid it because then my dogs will literally eat me alive. So I can't do that. But you guys can try it. Okay. Great. Let's do a couple more and then we will have to wrap up. Lots of questions for Maya today. How long for carnivore to help with autoimmune issues? What do you think?
So let me think, because unfortunately I wish I had kept some sort of diary to really track, and I do encourage that if you're in the beginning stages of carnivore, try and keep a diary if you are trying to track, when some of your concerns are lifting and how you feel just mood wise. But for me, it was within the 4 months, I would say. I would say 4 months. I was 100% clear of not just my inflammatory, my pain from inflammation, but when I wasn't in pain, my joints would still have what's called tension. I would still feel
Oh,
tension and tightness.
yeah.
So it wasn't
Mm,
completely like I was either in pain or not in pain. It was always a concurrent thing. But after 4 months, I would say, even the tension had lifted. My back, I could completely bend. I could, touch my toes. I could stretch, do my splits again. But again, I wouldn't I wouldn't try following what other people say is their ballpark for, oh, in 4 months you're gonna feel pain free. In
right.
3 months, it's always going to be individual um, to who you are and your health concerns. But for me, it was about 3, 4 months. 3, 4 months.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, it is just so personal. There are so many different types of autoimmune issues. Typically, I like to call autoimmune healers long haul healers. And long haul, as in, it might take you a little bit longer than most to heal your issues, especially if it's autoimmune. For me, 6 months was when I was like, oh, wow, I feel like I'm totally cleared. It is gone. But I have also heard 2 months, just a couple weeks in, and they feel incredible benefits already. It's just so personal, Beefy. Just keep us posted. You're doing great. Okay, last one, and we will wrap up. How many times do I eat a day and do I fast? I eat anywhere from 2 to 3 meals a day. And I love that Maya also emphasized that she does best 2 meals a day. I personally think if you're a young woman, you are menstruating and you want to stay fertile, you want happy skin, great mood, minimal pain during your periods, you should not be eating any less than 2 meals a day. 3 years ago, Bella would say, OMADs are great. I love OMADs. I love being in autophagy and eating once a day. But I had my experimentation with OMADs. I took it to the point where I did, I think, like a whole year in a row. And I started feeling that it was tanking my energy because a young woman's body and hormones can only handle OMADs for so long. I feel like OMADs are a great tool sprinkled throughout the week, maybe no more than 2 to 3 times a week. But again, 2 meals a day is ideal. I personally do 2 meals a day. When I'm menstruating, I'll sometimes do 3 meals a day, and I do not do any long fasts. OMAD is as far as I take it. Hopefully that helps. All right, Maya, I want to give you a chance to plug Meatstock because you are the fabulous event organizer. What is Meatstock about? And then how can we support you?
Yes, so Meat Stock is a convention. We do have a resort portion as well, but it's a chance for those interested in carnivore, those who have been on carnivore, to come and meet with those who are living a similar lifestyle and to share your stories and also listen to very strong names in this community like Bella, like Dr. Boz, Dr. Chafee. We have Michaela Peterson coming to 2026, and we're so
Yeah.
excited to have her featured. And it's just going to be such a fun time, and we hope to see you all there, those who are interested.
Oh my gosh. It is so fun. I was there this year for the first time. I had the honor of being part of the speakers, but even as someone who experienced it, watching the panels that went up on stage, connecting with the members in the community, it was magical. I keep saying these meetups are magical because they are. Like you make friendships that last a lifetime. And Meatstock is special because it has this wonderful retreat integrated into the experience. So if you want to have a vacation while making friends, while learning about this carnivore lifestyle, Meatstock is the one. It's a linked in the live chat, and I'll also make sure to drop the link in the description when you guys watch it. It is what dates next year?
Yes, so we do have our website up. It's at meatstock2026.com. That should be it. And
Yes.
I don't have the dates at the top of my head, but once you click that link, you'll be given all the ticket information as well as dates, times, and
Perfect.
location.
Oh, there it is. Thank you, Lindy,
There we
for
go.
dropping it. April 30th. Yep. To May 4th,
Thank
cabin
you,
retreat. Yeah. If you just want the convention, guys, May 2nd to 3rd. And it is in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So very, very exciting. And I'll be there. Maya will be there. A lot of amazing carnivore speakers will be there. And of course, the community. And finally, Maya, how can we support you?
Yes. Oh, before I go into that, I just wanted to add two more things because I forgot to mention
Please.
exercise. I just want to say, those who
Oh,
are leading a carnivore lifestyle, please, please, please look into regular exercise. That has been one of the biggest things in my health journey is having regular movement. And
really
lastly, is it
moving.
okay to say a few words to those who are watching who may be residing in Japan and
Of
Japanese audience?
course.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Yes.
So,皆さん、最後までこのライブを聞いてくれてありがとうございました。もしこのダイエット、カーニボダイエットっていう肉食ダイエットを興味があれば、ぜひ、ベラーザステーキ&バターガールをフォローしてね。ありがとうございました。
Whoa, that is so awesome. Wait, Maya is a living, walking anime character. She is stunning. She's so pretty in person. Obviously, I saw all of your guys' live chat comments throughout, commenting about how cute and gorgeous she is. She really is. And we need you to speak up more about your carnivore experience. We could really use a young, intelligent voice like yours in this carnivore community, guys. Caleb says, my brain just broke.
Oh my God.
So funny. Yes, Maya was speaking Japanese. Go support Maya. I've linked her Instagram and YouTube right in the description box. Anything else that we can do to support you?
No, thank you so much for being so hospitable, Bella. I mean, it was amazing to get to meet you in person, and I hope we can talk more in the future. I love what you do.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
You're one of my biggest
You are
inspirations.
so welcome. It is an honor. I love you so much, Maya. We will do more of these for sure. Let's all thank Maya for her time in the live chat. And guys, I will see you on Friday for the Friday night live stream. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye.
Bye.